So, in the last segment, we were in the middle of this static and dynamic complex, right. So, what we have learned from the previous segment is that one afferent fiber from the muscle spindle, they involve both dynamic and static response, right. I guess it's clear up to this part, like 1A is involved in both the dynamic and static response. So, in this diagram this diagram shows, like say this shaded area, it means we are providing the stretch. So, there are 4 diagram. Upper one is for stretch alone, and then we are recording the change in activity of the 1A fiber. So, response of 1A fiber to selective activation of the motor neuron. Upper one is for the stretch alone. This second one is when we are stimulating static gamma fiber, and third one is when we are stimulating the static dynamic gamma fiber. Sorry, only the dynamic, not the static. We are stimulating the dynamic gamma fiber. So, in uppermost, see, this is the basal line, we provided the stretch. So, because we provided the stretch, so initially it was in resting condition, we provided the stretch. So, there is some generation of the action potential, activity is happening activity of 1A fiber is happening. So, it happens and we keep on providing the stretch, then it will come back, like it will come back toward the basal line, but since we are providing the steady state stretch, so it will not reach up to the basal line, it will stay a little bit above the basal line. So, this segment in between the basal line and that static response, that is the steady state response, means the activity, see, from the basal line, this dashed line to uppermost dashed line, this one, this is the entire activity happening in 1A fiber, and we all know 1A fiber is involved with dynamic as well as the static. So, dynamic will happen when we disturb the muscle from resting condition. So, initially whatever the maximum is reaching, it is because of the dynamic as well as static, and then we keep on continuously providing the stretch at a constant level. So, it will not come back to the basal level. So, in between this difference, this activity is due to the steady state, and in between this steady state and the maximum point, that is the dynamic activity. Okay. Now, what we did, we stimulate the static gamma fiber along with this stretch. So, if we stimulate the static gamma fiber, what will happen? Static gamma fiber is innervating the peripheral end of static fibers, and because we are stimulating this static gamma fiber, the peripheral end of the static fibers, interphysial fiber, they will contract, and because of the peripheral end contraction, there will be stretching of the middle part of static interphysial fiber. So, because of the stretching of the middle part of static interphysial fiber, 1A fibers activity will increase, static 1A fiber activity will increase. That is why this static response is not coming back to this level. See, it will never come back to the resting level as long as we keep on providing the static stretch. We provided the same amount of the stretch, but along with the stretch we stimulated the static gamma fiber. So, that added in the steady state response. And how much is the dynamic response in this case? Dynamic response is very negligible. See, if we draw the line over here, the maximum one, this is the maximum one, and the, sorry, not this one, let me do this thing. this part, below this one, this much in between these two green line is the steady state response, and in between this red line and upper green line, this part is dynamic response. So, dynamic response is very little, it is reduced, but steady state response is increased. Now, what we do? We are stimulating the dynamic gamma fiber instead of stimulating the static gamma fiber. We have provided the stage and we stimulated the dynamic gamma fiber. So, dynamic gamma fiber stimulation will make the dynamic interphyseal fiber to contract, like the peripheral end of those dynamic interphyseal fiber to contract, and which will ultimately stretch the middle part of dynamic interphyseal fiber, right. Now, dynamic interphyseal fiber stretching will increase the dynamic activity within 1A. So, if we draw the line at the maximum one, say this one, this is the maximum response, and this one is steady state response. So, in between this green line lower one up to the basal line, this is the steady state response, and this part in between these two green line, this is dynamic response. So, dynamic response is increased. Upper one, the static response was increasing in this one. Okay. So, that is the difference between static and dynamic response. Now, the second part is, say if we look at this diagram, the muscle spindle, there will be two terms used quite often. One is called as loading of the muscle, and the second term will be unloading of muscle spindle. So, what is loading and what is unloading? The loading and unloading is, see, from first one we will move downward, like say at this, look at this diagram. This is diagram of a skeletal muscle, this part and this one, these are extrafusal fiber, and this one is interfusal fiber forming the muscle spindle. Okay, muscle spindle, and we are recording the impulses generated in this black afferent fiber. Forget about 1A or 2, we are just recording the activity or impulses in the sensory nerve afferent fiber. At resting condition, there are a bit of very few fluctuations are there. Okay. Now, when we stretch the muscle, what will happen? This activity, or here there are the 3 waves. In this one, it is increased from 3 to 7. Why? Because we stretched the muscle. We stretched the muscle, which stretched the middle part of interphyseal fiber, and which generated the impulses, and these impulses are recorded over here. Now, what will happen in response to this stretching? There will be the contraction of this extrafusal fiber. Because of the contraction of the extrafusal fiber, this part we can say it will move downward and it will move upward. So, what is happening to the muscle spindle? It is relaxing. This muscle spindle is relaxing, and because of the relaxation, the sensory fiber are not taking any impulses, they are not generating any impulses. So, there is a straight line, there is no fluctuation, no waveform. Now, the next one is, if we increase the gamma efferent discharge, now gamma efferent means it will come to the end over here as well as this end of interphyseal fiber. So, what will happen to this interphyseal fiber? This part is moving upward, this part is moving downward. So, the middle belly, it is stretched out in opposite direction. So, because of the stretching out in opposite direction, this part, the afferent fiber, they will generate the action potential, there will be activity. So, that is why there is happening activity because of the increased gamma efferent discharge. Okay. Now, what will happen? Because of the increased gamma efferent discharge will increase the activity within 1A fiber. Okay. And if we look just at the muscle stretch, this is just only muscle stretch. We are getting like 7 waves, and this is just alone increased gamma efferent activity. We are getting these 5, and if we collectively muscle is stretched as well as increase the gamma efferent, there are so many more activities. Okay, so many more activities. So, this thing, when the muscle spindle is stressed, we can say when the muscle spindle is stressed, its sensory endings will get distorted, right. Its sensory ending will get distorted, these sensory ending will get distorted, and the potential, receptor potential will be generated, and it will generate the action potential, this wave. So, because the spindle is in parallel, with the extrafusal fiber. So, we can say we are just stretching this muscle out, say let me take this example, we are stretching the entire muscle in real life. So, this stretching will stretch the entire muscle. Because of the stretching of the entire muscle, muscle spindle will get stretched. Okay. We can say if I zoom in, say like this way, so this is the thing, and if we stretch, it gets stretched, this muscle spindle is getting stretched. So, because of the stretching of the entire muscle, muscle spindle will also get stretched, and stretching of the muscle spindle will generate the action potential or the receptor potential, ultimately ending up in generating the action potential within 1A afferent fiber, 1A and 2, depending on whether it is a dynamic or the static one, there will be generation of the action potential. This thing is called as loading, loading of the muscle spindle. Because of the stretching, generation of the receptor potential in sensory afferent fiber, this entire process is called as we loaded the muscle, we stretched the muscle, that is why we developed the potential. Okay. Now, because of the development of the potential, the alpha motor neuron is acting, and alpha motor neuron, what alpha motor neuron is doing? Alpha motor neuron is making this extrafusal fiber to contact. So, because this contraction, how the contraction is happening? The contraction is making muscle move in this direction. So, what will happen to the muscle spindle? It will get relaxed. That thing is called as unloading, unloading of muscle spindle. This diagram upper one is loading of the muscle spindle, and this diagram is unloading of the muscle spindle. So, loading and unloading. Now, like in the previous segment I said, dynamic and static response of the muscle spindle, they influence the physiologic tremor. They influence the physiologic tremor that we have covered. Now, if we look at the function of the muscle spindle, now we can say, if anybody asks you what is the function of muscle spindle, first is they have got the role in stretch reflex. Second, they have got the role in maintaining the muscle tone. What is muscle tone? If anybody asks you what is muscle tone is resistance of a muscle to stretch. अब जैसे आप किसी का हाथ मूव करते हो, हम ऐसे ही बैठे होते हैं घर में अपने फ्रेंड या सिबलिंग्स के साथ, कहते हैं ना कि हाँ हाथ ढीला छोड़, हाथ ढीला छोड़, जबकि आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो, हाथ ढीला ही है, बट अटेंटिवली जब आप एकदम रिलैक्स करते हो, हाथ ढीला छोड़ते हो, तब मूवमेंट बड़ी इजीली हो जाती है हाथ की, अगर दूसरा बंदा उसको पैसिवली मूव करता है। अदरवाइज आप कांटेक्ट नहीं कर रहे हो, बट फिर भी थोड़ा सा रेजिस्टेंस होता है ना मसल का, कि आप जैसे कि कोई आपका हाथ मूव करेगा, हल्का सा रेजिस्टेंस होगा, दैट विल ऑलवेज बी देयर इन द रेस्टिंग स्टेट, दैट इज कॉल्ड as muscle tone. The resistance of a muscle to stretch is called as muscle tone. If a muscle is if a muscle, particular muscle has got intact nerve supply, it will definitely have muscle tone. If that nerve supply to the muscle, the motor nerve is cut, then the muscle will offer no resistance at all. There won't be any resistance. जैसे हाथ ढीला पड़ जाता है ना, जैसे हम ऐसे ही प्लेफुल मूड में होते हैं तो करते हैं ना कई बार कि हाँ मर गया, वो बच्चे आपस में करते हैं जैसे, तो वो मरने का एक्टिंग कैसे करते हैं, आंख बंद कर ली और हाथ रिलैक्स कर दिया, उसका हाथ कहीं भी मूव करो, हाथ टांग इजीली उसके साथ मूव कर लो. इट मीन्स देयर इज़ नो रेजिस्टेंस एट ऑल. So that no resistance to the passive movement, that thing is called as flaccid. And if that muscle tone or the resistance is increased in some conditions, that resistance will be more than the normal one. So that particular muscle will be called as hypertonic or spastic muscle. If it is more than the normal, then it will be called as hypertonic. If it is less than the normal, then it is called as hypotonic, or either total absence is called as flaccidity, flaccid muscle. Okay, flaccid muscle. So muscle spindle helps in maintaining the muscle tone, we can say. The third one is role in maintaining the skeletal muscle at certain physiological length. If it is maintaining a particular muscle at certain length, that is why it is providing the muscle tone, a bit of the resistance, it is not flaccid at all. Okay. And it helps in proprioception. For the proprioception, to know or to be aware about the position of a body segment or body part around a joint, that is sensed by the muscle spindle, we can say. Okay. Now, the effect of gamma motor neuron discharge. We know the gamma motor neuron, they have been divided into two types, static gamma motor neuron as well as dynamic gamma motor neurons, depending on whether they are innervating the static fiber or the dynamic fiber. Now, the increased gamma motor neuron activity increases the spindle sensitivity during stretch. What does it mean? It means stimulation of gamma motor neuron, stimulation of the gamma motor neuron and stimulation of alpha motor neuron, both of them they have got different action. Like say if I try to draw the diagram in this sense, say this is the intrafusal fiber, okay, intrafusal fiber, and this one is extrafusal fiber. Now, this gamma motor neuron to intrafusal fiber and alpha motor neuron to the extrafusal fiber. If I stimulate this black one, these are the alpha motor neuron. What will happen? They will make these pink one or the majority of these extrafusal fiber, majority of the entire muscle to contract. If it contracts, what will happen? It will contract in inward direction. We can say it will contract in this direction, right? Muscle will contract in this direction. Now, what is the effect of alpha motor stimulation? Alpha motor stimulation is leading to contraction of the extrafusal fiber, and what is happening, ultimate final effect on this muscle spindle, it is relaxing. That is what happens when there is alpha motor neuron activity. Now, if instead of alpha motor neuron activity there is gamma motor neuron activity, this green one. So, what will they do? They will make this end and this end to contract. So, this end contracts in this direction, this end contracts in this direction. What will be the final effect on the muscle spindle? Final effect on the muscle spindle will be, it will be stretched outward. So, there will be increased activity. So, alpha motor activity relaxes the muscle spindle, but gamma motor activity stretches out the muscle spindle, okay, stretches out the muscle spindle. So, if the entire muscle is stretched, During the stimulation of the gamma motor neuron, the rate of discharge in 1A is increased, that we have seen in that diagram. Which diagram? Where we were talking about this thing, say in this one, this diagram, right, in this diagram we are seeing. So, these gamma motor neurons, who controls these gamma motor neurons? These gamma motor neurons, they are controlled by higher centers, descending tracks from the brain. It is coming from the higher center. It can be from the cortex or it can be from the brain stem. They are controlling the activity of the gamma motor neuron in majority. They are also controlling a bit of the activity of the alpha motor neuron, but who is the main regulator of the alpha motor neuron? The peripheral 1A and 2 fiber, they will carry the sensation of stretch, and within the spinal cord itself alpha motor neuron will get activated. Though they have got certain supervision from the higher center, but the gamma motor neuron, they have got maximum supervision from the higher centers, maximum supervision from the higher center. So, this alpha and gamma co-activation is needed. See, sometime what will happen when you will perform, you will do these experiment in the physiology as well as in like clinics, you will do the knee jerk reaction. So, at the time of eliciting the knee jerk, there will be some time when you won't be, you will be performing the, like you will be doing everything right, like in there is certain way of eliciting the reflex, like you have to move hand in a particular way and you have to hit the tendon, like say if you are eliciting the knee jerk, you have to hit the tendon of the quadriceps femoris at a particular point, and with the particular force you are doing everything right, but still you are not getting the, sometimes you won't be able to elicit the knee jerk. Then what you will do? You will be asked to say you are doing everything right and the subject is not moving the leg at all, like subject is not able, voluntarily that subject is not supposed to move, but when you hit the tendon of the quadriceps femoris, that subject's leg should move, but it is not moving, it is not extending. Then what you will do? You will ask the subject to clench the teeth, either clench the teeth or there will be like you will ask the subject to interdigitate fingers. जैसे हाथ है ना आपका, हैंड, इनका क्लॉ टाइप में बना के एक दूसरे से आपको स्ट्रेच आउट करना है. दैट्स द ड्रॉबैक ऑफ द ऑनलाइन क्लास, लाइक नॉट द वीडियो क्लास, दिस ऑडियो क्लास. आई एम नॉट एबल टू टेल यू व्हाट आई वांट टू से. आई वांट टू कन्वे कि आपने जैसे फिंगर्स अपनी मोड़ ली है, फ्लेक्स कर ली है पाम की तरफ, और इन दोनों को आपस में फंसा के स्ट्रेच आउट करते हो, या फिर यू आस्क द सब्जेक्ट टू क्लेंच द टीथ, और फिर आप वही सेम प्रोसेस जो पहले से ही कर रहे थे वैसे ही कर रहे हो, इस टाइम आपका रिफ्लेक्स आ जाएगा. दिस थिंग इज कॉल्ड एज जेंड्रासिक मैनोवर. जेंड्रासिक मैनोवर, सी दिस जेंड्रासिक मैनोवर. What is the basis of Jendrasic maneuver? The stimulation of the skin, especially by the noxious agent, increases the gamma motor neuron discharge to ipsilateral flexor muscles. Okay, muscle spindle, to the muscle spindle. See, when we do all these exercise, this gamma motor neuron, they have got control from the higher center. Higher center will make them more excited, and because the gamma motor neuron are getting excited, see, जस्ट टेक द एग्जाम्पल, आपने एक मसल है क्वाड्रिसेप्स, आपने हिट किया, नी हैमर से हिट किया. आइडियली जो आपने स्ट्रेच किया, हिट किया, इट शुड बी सेंस्ड इन द मसल स्पिंडल, और मसल स्पिंडल से सेंस होके 1A and 2 फाइबर से गया और अल्फा मोटर न्यूरॉन को कॉन्टैक्ट करना चाहिए. ठीक है, अब ये नहीं हुआ, आप उतना ही थ्रेशोल्ड दे रहे हो, मे बी उस मसल स्पिंडल का थ्रेशोल्ड ज़्यादा हो, इसलिए नहीं हो रहा हो. तो अब उसका मसल स्पिंडल का जो थ्रेशोल्ड है, उसको कैसे उस तक पहुंच पाओगे? आपने उतनी ही फोर्स लगाई नॉर्मल वाली, बट मसल स्पिंडल का थ्रेशोल्ड ज़्यादा है, तो उसमें ऐड ऑन क्या कर दोगे? आप गामा मोटर न्यूरॉन डिस्चार्ज ज़्यादा करवा दोगे. अब गामा मोटर न्यूरॉन डिस्चार्ज हुआ तो क्या हुआ? मसल स्पिंडल के जो पेरिफेरल एंड है वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुए, उन्होंने मसल को और स्ट्रेच कर दिया। नी हैमर से हिट करने पे स्ट्रेच हो रहा था, बट दैट वाज नॉट रीचिंग अप टू द थ्रेशोल्ड लेवल, सो यू इंक्रीज द एक्टिविटी ऑफ द गामा मोटर न्यूरॉन विच एडेड अप द स्ट्रेचिंग ऑफ द मसल स्पिंडल, जिससे थ्रेशोल्ड लेवल पे पहुंचा, एक्शन पोटेंशियल जनरेट हुआ, अल्फा मोटर न्यूरॉन में एक्टिविटी आई और मसल ने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया। अब जैसे एंग्जाइटी होती है, देयर आर सर्टेन कंडीशंस, एंग्जाइटी, इफ अ पर्सन इज एंग्शियस, एंग्जाइटी, सफरिंग फ्रॉम द एंग्जाइटी, then anxiety is the pathology within central nervous system, higher center, and these increased activity of the descending tract from the higher center will increase the activity of the gamma motor neuron. So that's why in anxious person we will see the increased gamma motor neuron discharge and tendon reflexes will be hyperactive. आपने थोड़ा सा मारा, हल्का सा मारा है, लेस देन द नॉर्मल, आपने नी हैमर से किया है और वो एलिसिट हो जाएगा रिफ्लेक्स आपका नी जॉक. सो हाइपर एक्टिव टेंडन रिफ्लेक्सेस, it's because of increased gamma motor neuron discharge. So all these things they sign towards the thing like the gamma motor neuron, they have got major chunk of the control from the higher centers. So they are regulated by the descending tract via these pathway sense of the muscle spindle, and hence threshold of the stretch reflex can be adjusted. Okay. So this was all regarding. So if we look over here, this all regarding the gamma motor neuron. This fiber, say we did the stretching through the interphyseal fiber 1A and 2 fiber, they are carrying the sensation. This is the afferent limb of the reflex arc, and what it is doing, it is making the alpha motor neuron, this is the alpha motor neuron to activate and contact the extraphyseal fiber. So this is the efferent limb of the reflex arc. This is afferent and this part is efferent limb. Okay, efferent limb. This one is same thing जो हमने अभी किया था ना पहले डायग्राम में, कि आपने स्ट्रेच किया है या स्टैटिक या डायनामिक से किया है, वही डायग्राम है ये. अब ये गामा, जस्ट गामा का, कि आपने कुछ भी नहीं किया है, द गामा लूप सिस्टम ऑफ इनिशिएटिंग, ये आपका एक्स्ट्राफिजियल फाइबर है, दिस वन इज इंट्राफिजियल फाइबर. अब आपने यहाँ से स्टार्ट किया है कि गामा मोटर एक्टिविटी, आपने बाहर से कुछ भी स्ट्रेच नहीं किया, गामा मोटर की एक्टिविटी इंक्रीज कर दी. गामा मोटर की एक्टिविटी इंक्रीज होने से क्या हुआ, ये पेरिफेरल एंड ये वाला और ये वाला, ये दोनों एंड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुए इंट्राफिजियल मसल फाइबर का. तो इससे क्या हुआ, इस सेंटर वाले में मसल स्पिंडल में ये स्ट्रेच हुआ, ये इसको रिप अपार्ट कर रहे हैं, ये वाला एंड कॉन्टैक्ट हो रहा है और ये वाला एंड कॉन्टैक्ट हो रहा है, तो ये स्ट्रेचिंग होगी इसकी मसल स्पिंडल की. स्ट्रेचिंग से क्या होगा, ये जो 1A फाइबर है, 1A2 जो भी फाइबर है, इनमें आपका रिसेप्टर पोटेंशियल जनरेट होगा. सो इट विल गो टू द स्पाइनल कॉर्ड, एंड स्पाइनल कॉर्ड, दिस 1A फाइबर फ्रॉम द साइनेप्स विद अल्फा मोटर न्यूरॉन. सो इट विल स्टिमुलेट द अल्फा मोटर न्यूरॉन, एंड व्हाट the stimulation of alpha motor neuron will do, ultimately it will make the muscle to contract. So this is the gamma loop system of initiating muscle contraction directly through the stimulation of gamma motor neurons. Now there is one more term that's called as reciprocal innervation. So whatever we read till now, this part, this is stretch reflex, right? Stretch reflex or myotatic reflex, or you can basically say knee jerk reflex. तो इसमें आपका जो मसल है वो कॉन्टैक्ट हो रही है, फ्लेक्सर वाली कॉन्टैक्ट करा रहे हो या एक्सटेंसर वाली कर रहे हो. जैसे नी जर्क में हम करते हैं, वी आर हिटिंग द टेंडन ऑफ क्वाड्रिसेप्स फेमोरिस, एंड क्वाड्रिसेप्स फेमोरिस इज एक्सटेंसर ऑफ द लेग. ओके, तो आपका एक्सटेंसर, लेग की एक्सटेंशन होने के लिए फ्लेक्सर ग्रुप को क्या होना पड़ेगा, रिलैक्स होना पड़ेगा, तभी एक्सटेंशन होगा ना. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज रेसिप्रोकल इनर्वेशन. व्हेन ए स्ट्रेच रिफ्लेक्स अकर्स, द एंटागोनिस्ट मसल, it has to relax due to the reciprocal innervation. Now what is reciprocal innervation? अब आप इसमें देखोगे, यहाँ है क्या डायग्राम, 1 second, let me see. Yes, this one. This is the receptor, it is sensing, afferent fiber is going, and this is the alpha motor neuron. Okay, alpha motor neuron of, say we are talking about the knee jerk reflex. Okay, knee jerk reflex. So knee jerk reflex में हमने quadriceps femoris के टेंडन को हिट किया है, राइट, एंड quadriceps femoris is extensor. So this is extensor group of the muscle and this neuron is going to flexor group of the muscle of that particular leg. So हमने जब quadriceps femoris को हिट किया, that is the extensor group, receptor से this sensation is carried to the spinal cord and it is forming the synapse with the alpha motor neuron, and that alpha motor neuron is coming back to the extensor and making it to contact. So this is, there is only one synapse, monosynaptic, simple basic stretch reflex. Now one branch of this afferent fiber is going and making a synapse with one neuron, and that neuron in turn makes synapse with the alpha motor neuron of flexor group of the muscle. Okay, flexor group of the muscle, and that neuron happens to be inhibitory. That has to be inhibitory if it is going to this opposite antagonist muscle. So because of the providing the stimulus, it generates the action potential, it releases the neurotransmitter, it stimulates this interneuron, and this interneuron happens to be inhibitory. So it will release the inhibitory neurotransmitter and make this flexor muscle to relax. So this is the entire process that is happening, and this is bisynaptic or disynaptic, we can say disynaptic response. Okay, disynaptic. So when a stretch reflex occurs, the antagonist muscles relax due to reciprocal innervation. This is called reciprocal. 1A fiber of the protagonist muscle causes postsynaptic inhibition of motor neuron to the antagonist muscles, and this reflex is bisynaptic. A collateral from each 1A fiber passes in the spinal cord to an inhibitory interneuron synapsing on the alpha motor neuron supplying the antagonist muscle. That is the reciprocal innervation. So if we look at this diagram, see, same, this is the extensor group and this is the flexor group. Extensor group, we are hitting it with the knee hammer. This 1A fiber carries the sensation, one synapse, only one synapse with alpha motor neuron of same group, protagonist muscle. But there are two synapses, one synapse with interneuron, then inhibitory interneuron is forming second synapse with the alpha motor neuron of opposite flexor antagonist muscle. Okay, this is reciprocal innervation.